Hello everyone, here's your bubbly Bo again. Today, I want to use a quick video to go over my killer framework for answering behavioral questions and a few tips to prep for your interview. Let's jump into it. For behavioral question, it's almost the golden recommendation to use the STAR framework, which means situation, task, action, result. Personally, I do like this framework, but I found what works best for me is what I call the extended STAR method by adding an S and R to the beginning and the end. So it goes as follows: summary, situation, task, action, result, retrospect. I have experience as an interviewer and been interviewed at fan-level companies. I found that summary and retrospect play a more important role in my interviews for communicating examples. They help the dynamic with the interview, and that is what helps you get the job. So how do I use them? Let's say the interviewer asks a typical interview question like, tell me a time that you took the initiative and thought outside the box. If we use the STAR framework, we will start describing the situation. But I found the downside of doing this is it's very easy to get too detailed about the situation. Because it's your first time meeting your interviewer, you feel the need to provide all the context so he or she can follow your story. Especially for us, the non-native speakers, it's also where we struggle the most. Then what happens is we spend 2-3 minutes describing how difficult the situation was and the relationship between each role in the story, and still don't get to the meat of your action and the impact. The interviewer is already feeling lost and starting to lose interest. And another risk is that you don't know if the story is what the interviewer is looking for. A real story that did happen to me was, after a couple minutes of describing the scenario, the team dynamic, the project background, the interviewer told me it was not what he was looking for, and I understood the question wrong. Oh my, that hurts. So I started doing something different. Instead of jumping into the situation and the story, I gave a summary, like a nugget. Just 1 or 2 sentences, and then ask the interviewer if it was a good story to share. For example, for this question, my answer would be, okay, to answer this question, I would like to share a story when I restructured the entire program management in data science team into 5 unique programs just 3 months after I joined. This new program set up to reduce 20% to 40% meeting time for team members and increase team collaboration time by 20%. Is this a good example that you will be interested in? Then, wait for the interviewer's confirmation before you keep going on with your story. This approach has multiple benefits. Number 1, it gives an opportunity for the interviewer to provide feedback early on in the story to make sure that it is something they are asking. Number 2, it also highlights your impact and your action in the very beginning. Because when interviewers ask you this question, they are not interested in what exactly the project was or what the messy situation it was. He or she only cares about what you did and what the impact was. Number 3, this is something you can prepare ahead of time. To prep for your interview, you can write down a summary for each story and try your best to memorize it if needed, so you can have a strong start. We all have been there. When we got the question, we start with rambling, then it just gets spiral out of control. Alright, after summary, and we will start getting through the STAR. There are many videos out there about the STAR method. I'm not going to get too detailed about it, but I have just a few tips when you use this framework. For situation, make it short. Again, don't feel that you need to describe every person and all the weird dynamics in the story to help the interviewer to get the full picture. They are not here for the soap drama, and they are certainly not your therapist. Just give enough context so the interviewer can understand why you did what you did. For task and action, use bullet points as much as you can. What you did first, second, and the last. So it's easier for people to follow. And make sure you can list at least 2 to 3 actions that you took to resolve the situation. For result, quantify as much as you can. Use numbers rather than just saying it helped a lot, show that it significantly impacts something. What was the impact? Did it bring more profit? Did it reduce the time spent? Quantify it. Then now, let's get to my secret sauce. Drum roll, please. Retrospect. What did you learn in this story? Any takeaway? Anything you could have done better? Here are the reasons that I want you to include that in your answer. Number 1, it shows that you have a growth mindset. You are always trying to learn from what happened and thinking about how to improve yourself. Number 2, well, the interviewer will usually ask for that anyway. It's a very typical follow-up question. So, what have you learned from it? Or, what would you have done differently if you could start over? So why not just say it without people asking? To showcase how it could be executed, here is my retrospect to this question about the initiative and thinking outside the box. At the time, I questioned whether I should be rocking the boat as a relatively new employee. But looking back, this experience definitely solidified my career attitude of always challenging the status quo to continuously improve both the organization and myself. If I could have done it better, I would even start this process even earlier and be more rigorous in the program tracking by setting up the roadmap and milestone in the Jira board and be stricter in using that as the tracking system for our progress. So here is one last tip for anyone who's interviewing remotely. You can actually prep a cheat sheet before your interview using this framework. When I prep for an interview, I like to use OneNote because it can fit more in one page and I can set up different pages for each topic, introduction, behavioral, product sense, and etc. And it's easy to switch around. For behavioral, I would list the summary and bullet points for each section. I will also highlight and color code different stories to help me locate them during the interview. So when the interview starts, I will position the Zoom screen in the upper area of the screen and open my note so when the interviewer asks a question, I can easily locate which story to share. I don't usually want to write too much detail on the cheat sheet. I feel like I'm just reading the script and it's a little bit unnatural for me. And you also won't be able to fit too many stories on one page anyway. I like to have just enough pointer to feel more confident when I answer the question. Alright, there you have it. Hope this video helps you prep for your behavioral question. If you have any other tips, please share them in the comment section. And if you find this video helpful, it would be great if you can like this video and share this with your friend who might need it. And please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Let's keep it bubbly and see you next time.